right. Welcome to another episode of Sports Therapy with FH Jr. A little bit about the show. Let me start by going over the rules for the rule breakers. Sports Therapy with FH Jr. is a show that is sports and sports entertainment only. We don't give medical advice, we just give football advice. And the number to call is always going to be 940-329-4110. And that is a live number for you to call if you want to be a live guest. Also, on the show, we don't talk politics. I don't give a fat rat's butt what the Republicans are doing, nor do I care what the Democrats are doing. We don't talk sexual orientations. All are welcome to call in and be a guest. And we don't talk race relations. The show is always sponsored by Crown Royal. That is our sponsor. Also, I'm well, not always, but most of the time, I am docking and wearing the standard uniform, as you can see, with a lot of the NFL logos, such as the Raiders. We got the Ravens, Dirty Birds, got the Saints, got member of the Who Dat Nation. And on the back of the standard uniform, I do have my Commanders, Redskin football team, or whatever we want to call ourselves. And I'm always wearing the NFL hat that signifies that I am neutral, just like Switzerland. Yeah. And I'm always rocking a cool beard, as you can see. Yeah. So, on with the show. Playoffs. I'm not kidding you. Playoffs. Yeah, I'm talking about playoffs. But before I begin, I want to say this. Black Monday is going to come tomorrow, and a lot of coaches will probably lose some jobs. I know some. I know that Redskin Commander Football Team Nation, we've been calling for the ouster and the removal of our coach, Ron Rivera, along with our offensive coordinator. You know, sometimes I have to catch myself because I vacillate between podcaster and fan. And the fan in me always want to win because I am a big-time Redskin fan, been one for, well over 50 years. And then there's the neutral podcaster in me that says, hey, you know what? It is what it is. But sometimes I have to separate the fan in me when it comes to looking at the changes that need to take place for my team. Yeah, I go back and forth in terms of should we stick with Sam Howell for another year? Should we use draft picks and the money that we have to build up offensive line and shore up areas of need? But I can see it from a lot of our fans, and because I do compensate on Facebook and YouTube with various individuals, and we talk about what it's going to take to get our team back on par. Well, I think we all are in unison in terms of we want a different coach. Some people are wanting Eric Bieniemy to be the coach / whatever. I admit I really don't like Eric's approach. And there's nothing wrong with him. I like him as a man. I like Ron Rivera. I think sometimes you need to be a leader for a specific situation. And when it came to Coach Ron Rivera, I think we needed Ron for stability. And I think he gave the organization some stability for the last 4 years. And then sometimes you have to call in somebody else, a new voice, new vision, to get your team or your business to take that next step. And I think that's where we are with the Commanders, Redskin football team, whatever the hell we want to call ourselves. But I think right now we needed to take that next step. And I have to remind myself that it's a business. It is a business. Owners don't fall in love with players. Owners don't fall in love with the status quo, because if they did, you would never move anywhere in terms of progressing in the NFL, because it's a business. So I have to remind myself that. And at the end of the day, I think about Sam Howell. As a part of me want to build around this young quarterback and say, hey, you know what? He's just a rookie. Let's stick with him and see what he's got. But then again, if you get the opportunity, because right now we're sitting in what I believe to be second place. In other words, we're going to pick second in the draft, NFL draft. So there we can look at, okay, man, there are some, because this is going to be a good year for quarterbacks. I think if you got in your mind that you want to get a quarterback to build your team, I think this is this will be the year to go shopping. You'll be able to get whatever you want. We got Michael Penix Jr. coming out. We have Mays, the kid from North Carolina. We got Williams coming out of USC, and then we got some. And then there's Bo Nix. Then there's and don't sleep on the quarterback for South Carolina that used to be the number one quarterback, because he was quarterback. He was the quarterback for the Oklahoma Sooners for a minute there. So let's not sleep on. There's a lot of young quarterbacks that people will be able to pick in the later rounds and probably will end up with a good, solid quarterback, because this is the year. So as I was saying, there's a part of me that wants to stay with the status quo as far as our quarterback and build up around it. But then again, there's a part of me that also want to say, you know what? When you only win 4 games, that means everybody got to be called on the carpet and evaluate where they are. So you look at everything from the GM to the coach. You look at everything, players, because when you are 4 and whatever the hell, nobody should feel good about this season at all. And the fingers should be pointing at everybody. I mean, it is what it is. And so I was watching my team today. I was like, hell, we can't even tank. Yeah, we can't even tank. So, but at the end of the day, I know players are not wired to lose. They're not. So it's hard to, once you put on that helmet and you go out in the field, and it's hard to say, hey, you know what? Let's just go out and lose. Guys are not wired that way. And then also, we are coming to, when I say we have everybody that's going to be in the big dance as far as the playoffs. We know from first place to seventh place. Even though we got the Dolphins are playing tonight, really that's not going to have any inkling. It's not going to make a difference as far as seeding or anything like that. It would have if certain things hadn't taken place. The Who Dat Nation is out. It's been a crazy, crazy day, man. Now, let me get me a call in here, man. Sports Therapy with F.A. Jr.
What's going on, brother? What's going on, brother?
My homeboy Glenn. Hey, man. The Steel
what's happening, brother?
The Steel Curtain made it in the playoffs, baby.
I don't like to know how, but I'm glad we did.
Man, I tell you what.
I got my terrible towel. I've been waving my terrible towel all evening.
Wave it, baby, wave it. Wave your terrible towel.
Yes, sir.
The playoffs are here, man.
Man.
Playoffs are here.
The new season just started.
You know what I tell everybody? I always say the season don't start until you get to be game 8. So right now, there were a lot of last minute, I would say excitement, but there was a lot of last minute. You know, this is the only year. Well, not the only year, but this is the most recent year where I can see where a team could go from being in to out, or you win one game and you win. How do you not get up when you need to just win a game and you're in the playoff, i.e. the Jags? All they had to do was win.
Man, 6 weeks ago, the Jags was the number 1 seed.
Yes.
6 weeks ago, they was the number 1 seed, and man, they had that Monday night. I forgot who they played, but they lost that Monday night game, and they've been on the downhill ever since.
Wow. Now yesterday.
But
go ahead.
But what I'm gonna say is that AFC gonna be tough, man.
Man, is it?
That AFC, man, Houston and Cleveland, and man, you got Buffalo, Pittsburgh, Kansas City, Miami. Man, anything can happen, man.
Well, I agree with you, but I still say the team to beat, the team to beat are those Ravens, man. I think the Ravens are the team to beat. Even though you guys took care of them yesterday, but let's be honest, um, there were a lot of because at the end of the day, when you're in the playoff, it makes no difference if you're in there. Just like there's an old saying, man. I'd rather be in heaven on probation than be in hell on a scholarship. So any way I can get in, I'm in. You know what I'm saying, dog? I'm in. I'm in. Now it's up to you to stay, but you guys are in. And so, yeah, people say, well, the Ravens didn't play some of their guys. They said that's because had they played everybody, Lamar Jackson and a lot of other key players, I think it would have became the old school type of Ravens / Steeler game. And I don't think neither team wanted to have that. You guys were playing, to get in. So, y'all were desperate dogs yesterday. So you had to do what you had to do.
But and another thing, man, like you said, when the Ravens Pittsburgh, that game is brutal. Somebody wound up getting hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, you never, man. I'm talking about it can happen in any game, but when them two teams meet up, you already know what's happening.
And there were some injuries yesterday. You guys lost T.J. Watts, but thank God it was just I wouldn't say just a MCL sprain, but it could have been a complete tear, which I think he's more than likely he'll probably be out. I think he's probably not going to play next week, but I'm sure he'll how they can get you ready to play. They can get you ready to play, and so I think he'll be ready to play.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Well, man, I want to tell you, I know people's already counting Dallas to take care of Green Bay easy, but I don't see that going to be an easy game.
No.
I don't see it being an easy game for Dallas.
No.
You cannot listen to all them commentators talking about how Dallas might. So Green Bay, don't come on, man.
Man, let me tell you something. That's a team. It was two teams that I don't think anybody in the NFC wanted to play in the first round. One of them is not in because I don't think anybody wanted to play the Saints because the Saints were starting to play some good football. They beat the hell out of the Birds, the Dirty Birds today, 48 to I believe 21. Yeah. And nobody wanted to get those boys in. And nobody want to play Green Bay right about now. Jordan Love is starting to figure things out. Now. He's starting to figure things out. The defense starting to play a lot better. I truly believe that I was going to ask you, if you had to put your finger on a first-round upset, who are you going to put on upset alert? Let's start with the NFC
Dallas
first.
Dallas Cowboys, Green Bay. I put Dallas with Green Bay because one reason I put Green Bay, people are not talking about, Green Bay have a running game.
Yes.
And they got big physical running back.
Yes.
And Dallas don't like to be ran. Dallas don't like you coming straight up towards them, up the middle. And Green Bay can set up some good. Green Bay got some good, nice receivers too.
Yes. If I had to put go ahead.
Now, if I had, Green Bay and I picked Green Bay. Not saying upset them, but they'll play Dallas tough because they, like you said, Jordan Love. He done improved a whole lot since the first beginning of the season. And their receivers have, too. They got some good, nice, solid receivers, and I like their defense.
I think, for me, the first-round upset, I think the team that I think that's most vulnerable, I believe the Cowboys are vulnerable to Green Bay based on what you're talking about is how the Packers go about their business. They are a running team, and Dallas seemed to be susceptible to a team that run right at them and what I call, just old-fashioned hand-to-hand combat type game. The Cowboys don't seem to fare that well. And right now, I don't think home field advantage is really that it's not that big an event. Yeah, they do get some calls, and we all know that. But when I saw how the Motor City Kitties came in and kind of handled up on the Cowboys at home, so that means that feeling safe at home feeling is just not there. But I also think
Yeah.
if the Lions are not careful, the Rams could get them too.
I was just going to say that, Nick. I was going to say that next going to be Rams. The Rams is slowly, is real low under the radar. Nobody really paying them any attention, but they're not as bad as they're not that bad. Long as they got Matthew Stafford and a good passing game, anybody got a chance.
Oh yeah.
And I tell you another team. I'm gonna tell you another team to get put out the first round. The Eagles going down next week. They're down there in Tampa Bay.
Well, I think if they would have been, I think if they would have been playing anybody other than Tampa Bay, I think I would agree. Because Tampa Bay, man, they didn't. I watched them today, and they were playing for their life because they were playing to get in. And man, they didn't look like I was like, yow, because man, I watched that game between them and the Panthers. There were 2 touchdowns called back from the Panthers, along with a couple of missed field goals. The Panthers could have easily have won that game, man. And I'm telling you, Green Bay. I mean, the Bucks were giving it all they had, so. I think everybody wanted to play the Bucks in the first round because, to me, I think that may be a get-right game for the Eagles. I think that's a game for them to try to get right. Now, if they don't come out and play Eagles football and get back to the running game like they used to be, then I think they may have an early exit. If they don't get back to playing how they used to play last year, because last year, the Eagles was a running team, man.
I don't think they're gonna. I don't think they're gonna get right this year. I think they messed up, man. To me, I think the Eagles messed up, man, when they got put Matt Patricia for a defense coordinator. Man, they had a whole lot better defense than they had last year.
Man, there's something wrong with their defense, man. There is something wrong with the defense.
Yeah, and then they don't have no good defensive coordinator, man. It's just I don't know what happened there, but it's just something ain't right. It's just something ain't right about them.
Now, I haven't had a chance to check up on it, but I did hear their star receiver got injured today as well.
Yeah, Brown.
Yeah, so.
Both Browns, Sidney Brown on defense and A.J. Brown on offense.
Yeah, and so if that's the case.
But they'll be at home. They'll be at home after next week.
Mm-hmm. And also in that Cowboy game, haven't followed up on it, but I'm sure they'll put something out here on the wire as far as with Stephon Gilmore, because if he's out, and I saw him looked like there was an injury to his arm, and if he's out, that is going to make a big difference in terms of what happens with the Cowboys in terms of where they go from there, man.
The second thing.
Yep.
Yeah, because they already lost Diggs, and then if they lose Gilmore, that's gonna be kind of tough.
Man, kind of tough. Yeah, because
it's gonna be pretty rough.
Because that's that veteran presence, that's that playoff experience, that's that deep run playoff experience, and so I think if they lose him, that is going to be a huge blow to the Cowboys in terms of how they go about their run in the playoffs. So now let me ask you this, homeboy Glenn. Should I be worried? Because I got a bet, brother, that if them Cowboys get to the Super Bowl, it ain't. I'm not betting that they have to win. If they get to the Super Bowl, bro, I got to get a ball cut, man. So, man, I need Green Bay. I need Green Bay to come through, baby.
Man, look here, go and let your hair grow, man. Man, you ain't got to worry about that. They're gonna find a way to screw it up.
Ooh.
That's what they do. I can't wait to see Green Bay go down there next week and upset them and watch Jerry Jones in that press box along with them fans, 100,000 fans out there, and Jerry Rural crying like they did last year.
Oh man,
that's must see TV.
Man, if they get bounced in the first round this year, man, I don't even know what's gonna happen, man. I know half of the people I work with ain't gonna be able to come to work. They ain't gonna be able to come to work.
Well,
man.
Well, you might well tell them to take them a vacation day or sick day. because it's coming.
But remember, I said, and I'm not going back on this. I said once a team peaks, you get 3 years to get it done. And there are some teams that are in that window, and that window is coming down, and this is their year to get it done. The Cowboys, 49ers, and the Ravens, and the Bills. This is it for them, because if they don't win a Super Bowl, and one of those teams don't win a Super Bowl, you're going to see what I call NFL minutia start taking place, which means guys not getting along. You got veteran guys start to get old. Guys want to get paid, and some guys in their final year of their contract. All that stuff starts to happen, and it's already starting to happen with Kansas City. I'll be honest. Now, let's shift real quick to the AFC. Of course, you know the Ravens get a bye, just like the 49ers get a bye for the NFC. 49ers get a bye, so they're not playing next week. But let's talk AFC. Let's talk Ravens. Now, you guys handled up on them Ravens yesterday, but like I told you, man, when the Ravens and the Steelers get together, man, you got to hide the women and the children and the snacks, because it's gonna get physical.
Yeah, you could throw out the record.
But yes, but I'll be honest with you. You guys match up better against the Ravens probably than anybody else in the AFC. That's because it goes beyond football when they get together. It does. It goes beyond football, man. But in the AFC, who is your team that you think have a good chance? And I'm gonna see if we on the same wavelength. Have a good chance of being knocked off in week 1 next week. In round 1, I'm sorry.
Kansas City.
Yes, Kansas City. Yes, and I think the
Miami Dolphins.
I think the Bills got a chance to get knocked off too, man, because they're so up and down.
That's what I'm trying to say. And I want to say this before I forget, man. I don't know if a person don't know or not, but a star just been born in football. The next superstar, C.J. Stroud.
Oh yeah, yes. Man, that boy.
He's the next big thing, man.
That boy look like he been in the league.
And I want to say this right quick. Bryce Young. If Bryce Young were playing with the 49ers instead of Carolina, and you put Purdy with Carolina, Bryce Young will be just like Purdy.
Well, I agree, and I agree that they both are the same player. Neither one of them are that great, but they are good system quarterbacks. You put them in a system, you surround them with everything, a good offense, a good defense, they gonna flourish. But if you think that they're gonna be able to carry a team by themselves, not gonna happen.
Not gonna happen. But I tell you this here, that Cleveland and Houston gonna be. Whoever the win ever gonna be a good one.
It's gonna be a good one, but
it's gonna be a good one.
I got a strange feeling that that's gonna be your boys coming out party, man. I think he gonna introduce the word, huh? Yeah.
Yes, man. Yeah. Dude, the next big thing, man.
But they got more than
him. He's the next big thing, man.
They got more than him, man. I watched that whole game today, man. They got a defense, man. They got a bunch of young. Go ahead.
They got 3 or 4 guys out on defense. Man, started out on defense. They're gonna be tough, man.
Well, they got that kid that used to play for Alabama, and I used to watch him wreck the SEC. He's a Ian.
Will Anderson.
Yes.
Will Anderson.
Yeah, but man, I saw a good piece on him. He was talking about, and he gave some good words to his sisters, because he's the only boy. I think he was about 5 or 6 sisters, man, and they all was into sports. And he was telling me, he said they asked him, where do he contribute his success? He said to his mom and his 5 sisters, because he said, man, they used to beat the hell out of him. He said they're the one who made him tough, and because they were all And he said he said something, man. He come home sore, man. He said, man, them sisters get a welling on him, man. He said, man, if I can put up with them, man, it ain't nothing out there I can't handle.
Hey, he can deal with anything,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, but
If he can put up with them, he can deal with
yeah,
anything.
because he said, man, they would make him get out and train. They would because they were athletes themselves. So so that's a good thing, man. But like I said, he's a good kid, man. I just watched him a lot. Now I hated when he was playing against my team in college, but that's a horse of a different color. But
Who's your team in college?
man, hey man, I'm a Razorback fan. Come on, dog. Come on, man.
Razorback.
Come on, man. Hey, but check this out.
Yeah, come on, man.
The only thing I worry about the Ravens is this. Sometimes that bye hurts you instead of helping, because sometimes your team you're gelling, you're clicking good, and then you get that bye, and all of a sudden you don't come out as sharp. And the thing about the playoffs, I always tell people in the playoffs they let you play a little bit more physical in the playoffs than a regular season, so you can get away with a little bit more stuff. So I'm just wondering, homeboy Glenn, that it may not be a good thing, but we shall see. But I just know
I want to say this before you go.
Mm-hmm.
I got one little gripe. I don't have too much to gripe about today. but your sister called me today. Your sister Hazel called me today and asked me was I watching the Cowboys and the Commanders.
Man,
and you know how much love I got for your sister.
Man,
I told her don't be calling me with no. I told your sister I had to get on your sister today. I told her don't be calling me with no junk. I said if you ain't got nothing nice to say, don't be calling me tell me what the Cowboys doing to command them. I said I don't want to watch that junk. Hey
man, I could. You know what?
I said, if you ain't got that.
This is the first time in my 50-something years of being a Redskin fan that I actually just stopped watching. I watched all the way up until the third quarter because, the truth be told, I needed us to not win that game. I know it sounds bad, but hey, man, we got a second. And I go back and forth, man. I tell people, man, sometimes I got to separate myself from a fan from being a podcast. The fan in me want to win every game. Want to bring back Howell, but then again, I have to tell myself it's a business. And when you only win 4 games, that means you got to look at everything. You got to look at the coach. You got to look at the coordinator, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. You got to address the offensive line. You got to address defensive backs, the linebackers, safety, the kicker, the punter, because you got to evaluate everything, man. So, because old boy's a new owner and you spend $6 billion, at the end of the day, man, if you want to go get your new quarterback, hey, you got to you do what you do. I can't be mad.
Who would you take?
If it was up to me,
who would you take if you?
If it was up to me, who would I take? Probably if I had first choice, if it was up to me, my first choice with that number 2 pick, I would probably get Michael Penix Jr. Second choice would be the kid out of North Carolina, Mays. That would be that would but I wouldn't I just Williams don't impress me. He kind of reminds me of a bigger version of Bryce Young. That he's bigger, but I just think that I don't know, man. Maybe the fact that I don't know how to say this, but I'm gonna say this, man. When I saw the brother up there crying after they lost a game, sitting with his mama crying, I had to ask myself, man, and I understand, man, losing it is, but it's not even that though. It's just that I just think that those 2 guys have a bigger upside, Michael Penix Jr. and Drake Mays. The only thing about Michael is that, he's had 2 knee surgeries, 2 issues with his knees, and that's probably why. And plus the fact that Washington is playing on pretty much the where they play out west, so they don't get a lot of television
I would take
time.
a chance. I would take a chance on the kid from LSU.
only reason I wouldn't go with him, I think he'd be okay if he fall to. I would take him. He just kind of remind me a little bit of RG3 in terms of his slight build, and he's a hell of a runner. But now he's learning how to pass. He's getting a lot better. But I just know those two guys are natural passers from the pocket. You know what I'm saying? They don't run to run. They run to pass the ball. If you force them to run, they still gonna pass it. So that's what I would do.
What would you do? I'm sorry to change the subject, but what would you do if you was the Chicago Bears?
I watched that game today because I needed, in order for the Saints to get in, the Bears needed to beat. I forgot who the hell they was playing today. But
Green Bay.
yes,
Green
they
Bay.
need to beat Green Bay, and there are some things that I see and feel that say, okay, I see. But then again, there are some things that make me as a owner or whatever GM say, is he the man? I think he is. I think he is. I think there's enough there. If you could read between the lines, I'm pretty sure that they are going to go with him as the quarterback next year because I just think right now he's starting to get it. They just need to give him some better surround him with some better pieces, maybe a better wide receiver.
If I were them, I'd take a Marvin Harrison Jr. I get that kid Marvin Harrison Jr. and set him up find a good offensive lineman and let him go. Because Chicago is not too far away.
Now, what I would do though, man, I'd go get him a veteran wide receiver. I'd get him a veteran because usually rookie wide receivers don't come into their own until their second year. But now,
but you don't find too many rookies like a Marvin Harrison Jr. either. Then you can't just go by their dad, but nope. He got that same. He played that same style kind of like his father do.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's a difference between playing college and playing pro.
It sure is, man.
And they usually don't figure it out. Wide receivers don't figure it out until like their second year. How to find a spot on the defense and sit down. How to what I'm saying. So those things, because for me, I think for him to turn the corner like we need Fields to do, I think they need to go get him a veteran wide receiver, maybe old boy from the Bills. Give him somebody like that
Diggs.
Yeah. Give him a dig.
Diggs.
Yeah, give him something.
I'm gonna tell you a receiver I wish they could make a trade to get.
Who?
The Chicago. I'm gonna tell you a receiver I wish Chicago could make a trade to get.
Who's that?
The boy from Denver, Courtney Sullivan.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, man. I would go with something like that, man, because he's gonna need right now. He needs a veteran receiver, man, somebody that's gonna be there for him and help him to develop to make that next level. Right now, I don't think you need to have a rookie coming in now, and that's just me, though. I'm just saying, But hey, man, let me get another call in here, brother.
Okay, brother, take care, man.
All right, man. I appreciate you calling.
Oh yeah.
Sports Therapy.
Yes, sir. What's up, my man? It's the Ravens extraordinaire, Brandon Cooper here.
What's up, bro, Coop? Hey, man.
Look, man.
Have y'all,
don't do this.
Have y'all taken my boy out the witness protection program yet?
Man, yeah, he got one more year. He got one more week of rest. But I told you, I said, look, the Steelers got more to play for.
Boy.
The weather was ugly in Baltimore. We just wanted to get in and get out with no injuries. Like I said, the Ravens versus the Steelers is always an ugly game.
Yes.
It's always ugly. It's always ugly. But I even told people were asking me about the parlay. And I was like, yo, if I was a betting man, take the Steelers on this one. Because the Steelers are playing for more than the Ravens right now.
Man. But the thing about those games, man, even the guys who don't really get to play a lot have a lot even they play hard. So I was like, man, don't put and I was kidding because I was texting you a little bit. I said, man, it's just Lamar's fighting every inch he can to not be out there on that field, brother. I was like,
Oh man, that boy, he was itching. He was itching. Because
Yeah.
the thing is, it was but I tell people our team goes as Lamar goes. Like Lamar is the heartbeat of our team. So if he's not playing, it's hard because it's different when you see number 8 go out on that field and it's like, okay, like we know we can win the Super Bowl every year if we have that man under center. And it's different, especially in that type of rivalry game. Like, come on, man. Well, I know it was hurting Lamar. I know he really wanted to play, but I hate to say it, but like you see T.J. Watt went out. You know what I mean? Like we couldn't risk that man.
And that's why I was like, man, whatever y'all do, don't even bring that brother to the game, man.
But you know, let's talk about, you know, your team with the number 2 overall pick, man. What y'all gonna do?
Man, let me tell you what. If I was GM, if I was GM, because I'll be honest with you, and this, you know, and I was talking to my homeboy Glenn. I said, man, you know, I have to separate myself, the fan, from myself, the podcaster. You know, the fan in me always want to win. Hell, the fan in me didn't want to lose today's game, but I realized, wait a minute, you know, aren't we supposed to be tanking? Because we came out like, nah. Hell, we don't even know how to tank. I'm more happy about the fact that we have a lot of money to spend than I am with the fact that we got this number 2 pick. Because I do believe this is a year where there are at least 4 to 5 good quarterbacks. I don't think you could go wrong with anybody you get, to be honest with you. And sometimes, and I had to ask myself, you know, we listen to these talking heads, these so-called experts who say, okay, they know this about this quarterback and that quarterback. This. At the end of the day, Brandon, hell, we know just as much about quarterbacks as anybody else. Any of these, not the guys who played the game, but I'm talking about these so-called experts who set up the mock drafts and tell you get this person, get that person. There's a part of me, to answer your question, there's a part of me want to trade that second overall pick back to somebody who really want to jump up and fleece them and fleece them and probably pick up Michael Penix. That's a part of me. Now I'm not saying that's me playing GM.
But so you're gonna go with another quarterback?
But I'm saying I would drop back to because let me tell you why I say I drop back. I drop back. I would drop back maybe 4th or 5th. Somebody who want to come up, and now I'm getting more draft picks because there are a lot this year. There are a lot of good linemen. You can get a good lineman. Now I don't want to start next year off with 2 or 3 rookie offensive linemen. Man, hell no, I don't want to do that. I want to take this money that we got and get me a couple of good. Now, one of our guys turned out to be a good lineman. Cosmani, whatever the hell his name is, he's developing. We're good with that. But I want to take that money, man, because we got a lot of money. Let's go and get some veteran linemen. You know, let's get some veterans to mix with these youngsters, and then get some more draft picks. Drop back, get some more draft picks, and then shore up some of those other areas of need that we have, like cornerback, linebacker, edge rusher. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so let me get this straight. You're gonna trade out of the number 2 slot to get either an edge rusher or a corner.
No, I'm gonna trade out of that to get another quarterback that I can pick because I think is still going to be there. I think Michael Penix will still be there. I think Daniels will still be there.
Well, here's the thing. I got a question.
Yeah.
Is this predicated on if or if not you keep Eric Bieniemy?
You talking about me making this choice?
Yeah.
No. Because, you know, here's why I am with Eric, man. You know, I have to tell myself, you know, I've always said it. Eric is Eric. He's in that pass first. Eric ain't going to change. I don't think Eric's going to be here next year. Now, I'm old school. I believe that there are certain situations. I think in order to be able to play in the NFC East and against the Ravens, teams like the Ravens and 49ers, you have to have a power run game. The Eagles was a run team last year. They got away from it. They just thought, okay, we gonna do the A.J. Brown show and the Smith show. They got away from their identity, and look where they are. Because when you play against the Cowboys, the Ravens, the 49ers, man, you got to be able to go blow for blow, blow for blow. You got a running game. And, yeah, you may not win, but you may win 10 games. But you still got to have that running game, man, because that's going to carry you through. You can't come out and just be a 80% pass team in our conference. That's me. Now, do I think we? Because I'll be honest, we got some offensive weapons. We have all the thing we need is a good tight end. Everything else, I'm okay with my receivers. I'm damn sure okay with my running backs. But it's just now, like I said, Eric is cut out of that Andy tree and passed. That's him. He's not going to change. You know, there's a part of me.
I will say this.
Huh?
I'll say this. With your team, if I was the GM, it's tough, man. I would probably, because you can do this one or two ways. You can either establish such a good team where you can just plug in any quarterback, or you can get a quarterback and just hope for the best. If I was in y'all's position, it's tough because it's something there with Sam Howell.
Yes.
It's something there. But
I think
I feel if you start over again with another quarterback, you might have the same problems. But if you're looking for a tight end, Brock Bowers is always there, but I don't know if you want to take a tight end that early.
No. That's what I'm saying. I don't want to don't get me wrong. If we decide to say, you know what, we're going to spend this first round draft pick on the highest rated offensive lineman, I got no beef with that. But I'm saying, if that's the case, drop back out of second place, because that lineman that we trying to get will probably be there if we go fourth or fifth, even sixth. The person that we're targeting is going to be there. So we could do that and use some and pick up some more draft picks and fix all those other areas. Because one thing that I heard, and I'm good with it, and I want to see it coming. They're saying that we're going to model our team after guess what team?
Oh, man.
Guess what team you think the goal is to model our team after?
It better not be the Ravens.
The Ravens. Because
bro, you get stopped.
That's what they're saying, that they want to model. But to be told, that's how our old Redskin team used to be. It was, now we've never had the just the all out quarterback other than Theismann. We've always had, bus driver type quarterback, but he was always surrounded with just hellacious players everywhere, from offensive linemen to tight end to defense, whatever. Cornerbacks, we had safeties, we had all. We were always a solid team, very similar to how the Ravens, how you guys were built. It's just that we kind of got away from that, man, and especially with John Gruden and all that foolishness he was doing, and it's like, okay, that's kind of, let's get back to that, because I do believe, and you and I had this conversation a while back, and I said, man, maybe it's time for teams to stop putting all their eggs in a quarterback and saying, you know what, let's get the average quarterback, and let's shore up these other areas, and
it's just like the you could say just like the Dolphins and the 49ers.
Yes,
they got Brock Purdy and Tua are two pretty average quarterbacks.
Just average quarterbacks.
They just loaded the rest of their team.
Yep.
Like, hey.
Yep.
Yep.
And
I will say that because
because
God damn, y'all in a tough position.
but it's just like with the Ravens. I don't think you guys would be where you all are if y'all had continued to just give the ball to Lamar and watch him play. You had to go and say, okay, look, we know we got this asset, but at some point we have got to give him some toys. We got to give him what he needs to get to the next level. And that's what now there are a lot of people kicking themselves because a lot of teams had the chance to get Lamar. You know what I'm saying? When he was like, okay, somebody give me my...
Hey, look, mind you, Lamar was up for grabs.
That's what I'm telling you.
And most of the other teams said that, it would have been a waste of time.
Right.
And he's not worth the money and all that.
That's where I'm going. So that's why I was telling my homeboy, at what point do we say we know just as much about football as these other talking heads, these ones that I'm talking about, the ESPN guys and all these other talking heads that's supposed to know everything about everything. Not the players, because those who played the game, they look at it from a whole different perspective. I'm talking about your Mel Kipers and those guys who probably never played football in their life, but yet everybody look to them as the minute they say something, we all gonna just look around and say, "Oh yeah, Mel Kiper said this that he shouldn't have." At some point, those of us who played any part of football know that it's a different animal, man. It's just like, for example, look how many people had the chance to go get Lamar Jackson. But they started listening to all that other foolishness. Well, you know what? Cleveland made that deal. Nobody's gonna do. And now, look at the brothers getting ready to hoist the MVP trophy. Because
and remember, they told Lamar, they was like, man, I think you should play wide receiver.
Yes. And so that's why, and answering your question about quarterback, you ain't guaranteed that any of these guys that we pick in 1 or 2 are going to be the next John Elway or the next whatever. Look at how many guys that came out 1 and 2 and 3 ain't worth a crap now. Sam Darnold, who's the kid the Jets picked up.
Zach Wilson.
Yes.
Zach Wilson.
Yes. But look,
and the Jets folded twice.
Yes.
They picked Sam Darnold. Then they picked Zach Wilson.
Yes.
They folded 2 times in a row.
Yeah. Hell, look at us. We went and grabbed the kid from Ohio State, and everybody kept saying, hey, dude, he only played 1 year. He ain't really ready, but we went and grabbed him. Now, I think an exception to the fact was RG3 because we had that idiot coach that just used him wrong. Used him as a running back and tried to change the whole way NFL football was played. And I always said, if you try to feature your quarterback as your primary runner, sooner or later he's gonna get popped. And I mean, it's gonna happen. Sooner or later he's gonna get popped and he's gonna be out. And
y'all have been cursed since y'all ruined RG3's career.
So I was like, man. So basically, man, what I'm saying is, I'm old school. I like and I know it's going to sound bad, I like the Jimmy Johnson model in terms of building a team, that you get assets. You build up a team, you fill up all areas, and you get guys that can back up guys. You have a systems approach, and that's how I am with that. I'm not pushing all my eggs that's why I say, hell, I'd rather drop back. Get me if they say, hey, you know what, the best player to take with this top pick is offensive lineman, the best offensive lineman there, I get him. But I know if I can get him at, I don't know, 5th or 6th, but you know what, I can trade out of that second spot, let somebody else have it, fleece them for some other draft picks. Now I can get my guy I'm targeting, and I actually do think we can survive with Sam Howell. I actually do. And guess
what? Because there's a lot of teams that'll be desperate for that number 2 pick.
And guess who will probably still be there? Probably Man, you never know how the draft is going to go. But I think Michael Penix will probably still maybe there early second round. I think he might be there early second round. Or I
The
might.
crazy thing is, I think Michael Penix might be the best quarterback in this draft.
Hey man, don't let that
If,
get out.
if I'm if I'm looking at his body of work,
Hey! Don't
hey,
let that get out, man. I'm trying to keep that a secret.
y'all could slide and get him second round, bro.
Hey, man. Let's don't talk about that, man. The walls have ears, brother. I do think that because of where he plays, and because he had those knee injuries, and but I just now what I'm afraid of is that he gonna showcase tomorrow night, and then all of a sudden, he won't be he won't be like Luca who they hid in Germany. They didn't want nobody to know he existed. Like hey, but I do think he's the best quarterback in the draft. I honestly do think that. I do.
I give him respect, but because everybody wants to talk about Caleb. Caleb Williams has been riding the same hype since he took Spencer Rattler's job.
Man, let me tell you. Let me say this, brother. I am if anybody know me, they know my two favorite college football teams are my Razorbacks and my OU Sooners, Boomer Sooner all day long. I've been watching Caleb when he was at OU. There was nothing. Yeah, he came in. Rattler's problem was, and I'll be honest, I think he is going to be a steal of a quarterback at the next level because Rattler is more NFL ready. But his whole deal was he just knew that his arm strength and his ability, he would try to throw the ball, put it in places that his receivers just wasn't ready to to handle. And I think that was probably a bad move when they benched him. But Caleb really didn't. I'm serious, man. There's nothing that jumps off when I see him that says this guy is the next John Elway or this guy is the next Peyton Manning. Dude, it's just not there.
No,
there's nothing that tells me.
Caleb Williams just does a lot of off script.
Yes. But he ain't the next Patrick Mahomes either.
No. But even Patrick Mahomes, people didn't think Patrick Mahomes was going to be that good.
No.
You know what I mean? Even when
it was Patrick Mahomes happened to get the opportunity to sit for a year, and he also had the opportunity to cut his teeth with Eric Bieniemy, even though Eric was in his ass. And he was in that system where they gave him a lot of freedom, and they surrounded him with hellacious receivers.
I agree.
They did.
Like I said, y'all. Like I say, y'all are in a very interesting position. You just have to make up your mind on the first overall thing is: are you bringing Eric Bieniemy back? And if you are, then you have to decide is Sam Howell the quarterback for his system? And if he's not, then you got to go with a quarterback.
We're not going to bring Eric back. I know that because
we got to pull the tapes from the beginning, from the preseason. We have to pull the tapes.
Man, I wanted to see Eric succeed. Dude,
I was like, oh, man, we got Eric Bieniemy. We gonna be scoring
dude, I was drinking the Kool-Aid. I was making the Kool-Aid and drinking it. I thought Eric was going to be.
Too much sugar.
Oh, dude, I had too much. It went straight to my head. But I thought, Eric was going to. Now, there's some things he did well. But what I didn't. The first couple of games, I was like, okay, he's just trying to figure it out. But when he wasn't even using Robinson and Gibson, and when those guys were getting the ball sometime like five carries a game, I was like, man, what are you doing? And then all of a sudden, I'm like, okay. And then when he started not making adjustments, and it's like, okay, this is going to be the Kansas City way, and it's just how it is. And I'm like, okay, come on, dude. Come on, dude. And then all of a sudden, the line wasn't holding up. I was like, come on, Eric, you gotta protect. Sometimes you gotta gear your offense to protect your defense. I'm like, come on, Eric, defense just came out here, man. We can't go back out there and go 3 out. But it's like he was determined that he was gonna make his Kansas City system fit. And sometimes you have to have certain players to fit your system, but that doesn't mean your whole system doesn't work. You got to adjust it, and he wasn't willing to. And I think that's where he lost the locker room that way, man, to be honest with you. He lost the locker room, and you can't talk crap to your veteran receivers, man. Now, do you treat everybody in the NFL the same way? No. You know superstars don't get treated like regular cats, man. You can't go tell Terry McLaurin to shut up, or you know what I'm saying? Because and McLaurin, those guys are not gonna say anything bad about him. It's just a matter of what would they say good about him. See, if they're not saying anything, just quote, just, oh man, I love Eric, I love him, da 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 da. Because sometimes owners may ask you things, not directly, but they might just say, hey, how's it going? And if you, we getting there. Da, da. They read a lot into that. You know what I'm saying? So,
and I agree.
I don't think, now there are some rumors that he's going to apply for a head coaching job. Do I want to see the brother get a head coach job? Yeah, I think it's time. I think it's time, but I think he's got to be willing to give up some control. I don't think now he may be one of those that think I can be the head coach and offensive coordinator. He may call his own plays. He may, but at the end of the day, he's gonna have to find a system that works with him, man. And now, does his system work? Yeah, it does. But I don't know, man. I just, to me,
I knew it was over for y'all when y'all said he was yelling at y'all too much during training camp. At that point, I was like, you know what? Y'all not ready for this life.
No.
You're not, as a team, y'all aren't ready.
That wasn't, yeah, you're going to get some soft guys like that. That's fine, man. You're going to get some soft guys like that. But at the end, that's football. You always get some criers and some snitchers or whatever. But what got me was the fact that he would not run the ball. Because when you're running the ball, and it's easier to run block than it is to pass block. You don't have to have the greatest lineman to run block. All you doing is firing out, and y'all may change assignments here and there, but that's all you got to do. But it's much easier. But I'm like, come on, Eric, make some adjustments, man. But he just wouldn't, man. He wouldn't. But my brother, it is time to bring this show to an end, man. Get a word in for what you do.
Yes, sir. This your boy Brandon Cooper, the Ravens extraordinaire. Lamar wins another unanimous MVP. And the Ravens are actually taking a break next week. Why? Because we got a bye. Hey, man, check me and my boys out. D1 Ignant University Podcast. It's D1 IGNANT University Podcast. We got Spotify Podcast, Apple Podcast. Hey, man, it's been a wonderful NFL season, but now it's time for the real players to play.
All right, brother. We'll see you next week.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's wrap it and cap it. It's been another episode of Sports Therapy with F.A. Jr. Want to say hi to the Country Kennies. Like to thank my homeboy Glenn for calling in. Like to say thank you and to my friend Jay who took it hard because the Saints are out. I also like to thank the Country Kennies and also Brandon from D1 Ignant University. And I also like to thank you. And please, have a good year. And all those on the yard, remember, always stay golden, baby. We'll see you next week.